I've been thinking, what comes to your mind when you hear the word leadership? For a long time, I thought leadership really means position, management, authority, hierarchy, someone higher up in the organization. Someone who gives you instructions, someone everyone has to listen to, and maybe even someone standing on that big stage speaking. And honestly, for many of us, including myself, that is how leadership often have been modeled in the world. But over time, especially through learning from my mentors like John Maxwell, I began to see leadership completely differently. John Maxwell often says that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. That changed the way I saw everything about leadership. Because if leadership is influence, then leadership is not just about title. It's not just about a position, about being in charge. Leadership can begin pretty much anywhere. It begins when we value people. It begins when we believe in people, when we serve people, when we take responsibility for something beyond ourselves. And looking back now, I think I became a leader long before anyone ever officially called me one. Long before I even realized that what I was doing was leadership. My understanding of leadership started much, much earlier. And it started with responsibility, I think. As I shared in my last video, I was born in Indonesia. When I was 12, I was sent to Singapore for school without my parents or siblings. At 17, I moved to Australia for university. And those experiences forced me to grow up very quickly to survive. They taught me independence skills, survival skills, adaptability, and how to navigate life in unfamiliar places. But there was one other season that shaped me even more. At 19, because of unsafe political circumstances in Indonesia, my three younger siblings came to live with me in Sydney. They were 17, 12, and 8 at the time. My parents had to remain in Indonesia, and suddenly life was no longer just about me. There were other people depending on me, other people whose well-being mattered, other people whose future mattered. I was still very young myself then, but I found myself becoming a kind of quasi-parent, attending parent-teacher interviews, helping organize food, groceries, school needs, daily routines, practically all the little things that come with caring for a family. That was my first time mothering, I guess. Did I do it perfectly? Absolutely not. My siblings and I still have many stories today that we laugh about together now. Some horror stories, some funny stories, and some very warm and precious memories that we made together. But at the time, I was simply doing what needed to be done. Out of love, out of responsibility, out of being the older sister that they count on. Looking back now, I realize that leadership often begins exactly there. Not with authority, not with recognition, not with a formal role, but with responsibility. The willingness to care, to love, the willingness to serve, the willingness to carry something that matters than yourself, the willingness to show up when people need you. And I think many of us underestimate ourselves because we do not have a leadership title. But perhaps you might already be leading and you're just not aware of it. Perhaps you're caring for aging parents. Perhaps you're supporting a child with additional needs. Perhaps you're mentoring someone quietly. Perhaps you're holding your family together through a very difficult season. Maybe you are also carrying responsibilities that nobody else sees. That matters. That is leadership too. Leadership is not about being bossy. It's not about having control. It's not about having the loudest voice in the room. It is about influence. It is about responsibility. It is about using whatever has been placed in your hands to serve others well. Some of the strongest leaders I know may never even stand on a stage. They may never have a fancy title. They may never be publicly recognized. But every day, they show up for the people who need them. And that kind of leadership is what matters deeply. Looking back, those early experiences absolutely shaped who I became today. As a sister, as a mother, as a lawyer, and hopefully overall as a human being. They taught me one lesson I will never forget. That leadership starts long before that title arrives. It starts the moment we decide to take responsibility for something beyond ourselves. So, as I end, let me ask you, what responsibility has shaped you the most as a person? Be blessed, and I'll see you in the next video.